Kickoff's around the corner. Here's more Gainesville Game Day.
Final few moments of the show, so let's see how this week's playoff projections shake out. Number 10, Notre Dame. Number 8, Michigan State. Number 7, Kansas State. Oregon now at 4, Auburn 3, Florida State 2, Mississippi State 1. Chris, what jumps out to you?
Oregon getting into the top 4. I had a chance to call that game between Stanford and Oregon on Saturday, and I was impressed with the way that they played on the defensive side of the ball, much better than what we've seen them play in the last couple years. They got over that Stanford problem. A tough couple games coming up towards the end of the season, but I really think they deserve to be in the top 4 at this point in time. A lot of things still left to be determined, and it's all going to shake out as we finish up the final games in the month of November.
Well, let's see how it all shakes out today with our picks.
The Picks, sponsored by your local Central Florida Honda dealer.
First game on tap, Georgia at Kentucky, noon kickoff. I'm going to go with Kentucky in this one. Just crazy thought. I know probably not going to happen. I'm going to go Kentucky, though.
You know, I know Kentucky's lost 3 games in a row and seem to be spiraling downhill a little bit after a nice start, but they are 5-1 at home. They play differently at home.
Yeah,
you saw the way they played Mississippi State a couple weeks ago there in Commonwealth Stadium. So there's something about that where they feel a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more confident. We talked earlier about Georgia's mental state. Who knows where they're going to be right now? So I'm going to go with you. I think Kentucky upsets Georgia here at this point in time, and we're going to see Mark Richt continue to be on the even hotter seat as the season continues.
Next game, 3:30 kickoff, Texas A&M and Auburn out in the West Division. A&M has really struggled as of late. Auburn been able to get things done. They're still within the top 4. They make the playoffs right now. So with all that considered, I'm going Auburn.
How about Kyle Allen last week making his first start? This offense does not have any true identity. You know, they threw the ball only 28 times, ran it 41 times. That's not a Kevin Sumlin type offense. I know a lot of it had to do with what Louisiana Monroe was presenting in their defensive front. You look at the way they've been manhandled. Auburn is going to run the football up and down the field on them. This could be a nasty one for that Texas A&M Aggie team.
When you talk about a team like Texas A&M that always tries to outscore teams, they get Auburn today, and that's kind of what Auburn does well too. They just do a little bit better here as of late for sure. Let's go outside the SEC with our next game. We'll go to the Big 12. Huge one on hand today between Kansas State and TCU, 2 teams in the top 10 right now. I think TCU, I love Trevon Boykin and what this TCU offense is beginning it done.
TCU may be that team of destiny. They won late against West Virginia last Saturday. I think the thing that I have a problem with is their defense. You know, we know they can score, but their defense has been miserable through much of the season as well. An interesting statistic for you, in the last 18 games under Bill Snyder, K-State, when they're an underdog, they won 11 of those games. I'm going to go with the upset here. I've been impressed with K-State. They played Auburn tough earlier in the year. I think that K-State gets a victory against TCU.
Hey, we got a great one on CBS 4, 8 o'clock p.m. Alabama and LSU. Nick Saban, Les Miles, could it get any better than that?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. I think these are 2 of the top teams in the West for a long time now. You look at the way LSU plays at home. They've only lost 2 games in the last, 5 or 6 years in that environment there. They lost to Alabama a couple years ago. They lost to Mississippi State this year. This is a team that's growing in confidence. Earlier in the year, they were miserable against the run up the middle. They were soft. I think their defensive line has matured. They've figured out some things at that middle linebacker position. But this is an Alabama team that knows how to run the ball with a physical mindset. This is not the same offensive line for Alabama that we've seen in the past, but they've developed as well. I think the thing that's going to be interesting is how Blake Sims plays in this football game. There's been a lot of success running the football, the quarterback running the football against this LSU defense. We saw Driscoll do it, Prescott did it, Marshall did it. So can Blake Sims protect the football? And when the protection breaks down, can he make some plays with his legs as well? I think Alabama does. I think they win. They don't play great on the road this year, but I think they do enough to win.
I agree with you. I'm taking Alabama for this one for the simple fact that you look up the standings, it's Auburn that's number 3 right now, granted on their record, not Alabama. I think Nick Saban has motivated his team. They know what's in front of them. They know they're getting Auburn at the end of the season, but it starts today with LSU. I think they get the big win there. And let's wrap things up with the Gators at Vanderbilt, 7:30 kickoff from Nashville tonight. No surprise where I'm going with this one. I'm going Gators.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Florida as well. I think they finally maybe are developing an identity themselves on the offensive side. We've talked about leadership in the past, that offensive line, the running backs. They developed that leadership on Saturday. I think this is a game. They have the much better, more experienced players. Do they play down to the level of competition? I don't think so in this one. I just think they're a better football team, and Florida gets the win.
All eyes are going to be on Treon Harris today, and, you know, it really just sort of depends. If the Gators can get that running game going, chew up some clock, get some early touchdowns, a lot of pressure will be off Treon Harris.
Yeah.
You know, just get him in a rhythm because you're going to need him for South Carolina a week from now. So that's kind of one thing I'm looking for. But Chris, we're both picking the Gators to win. So if the Gators get the win here today, what will they be saying after this game?
I mean, I think you're talking about momentum now. You're talking about 2 games in a row with an opportunity to play South Carolina, a team that's struggling at home. I think this is a chance to keep it rolling. You know, you look at the bad luck that Will Muschamp has had, that Idaho game getting canceled.
Yep.
That's one that certainly should be in the win column. You lose late. Tevin Westbrook drops the ball against LSU. If they win that game, I don't think they lose to Missouri the next week.
You're right.
This could be a team that heads into Florida State potentially with a 1-loss record. Obviously, things aren't that way now, but you can rectify some of those wrongs with a good performance tonight against that Vanderbilt team that you should be. This is an opportunity to get things going in the latter portion of the season here. All that stuff that happened early in the year is behind you. Right now is a chance to continue with a hot streak against a team that you're much better than. You should go out there and handle your business tonight against Vanderbilt.
Hey, well, that's all we've got from Beefo Brady's here today. For Chris Doring, I'm Phil Byrne. Enjoy the Gator game tonight. We'll have more Gainesville Game Day coming your way next week.
Visit GainesvilleGameday.com to catch this week's episode and make your weekly picks.